Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another Way Day show. We're gonna try today. We're gonna try as hard as we can to give you the top 10 best Premiership strikers ever. So I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves because go on. Start with Josh. Introduce yourself.
I'm Josh.
Who are you?
Co-host on Away Days, host of The Locker Room and the Cockney Magpie. Merch now available. Check my links.
Guys, Steve, tell us where we can find you, Steve.
So Red Sky Pods is my sort of channel, and I'm a host on that. And I'm also guest weekly on Eyes on the Ball TV for Football Heritage. And this Thursday, Copping Mechanism, which is one of Bits and Bob's offspring. I'll be on that tonight as well with a few of the boys, the Saints, and a few of the others from there. So 3 places you can catch up with me online at the minute.
He's everywhere. And yourself at the bottom.
Yes, Kojo from the Premiership podcast. Been on this channel before. I think most first days with Big Gunner and usually with my co-host Cahill. Doing rankings which people may tend to disagree with. But other than that, but my podcast, Free Midfield on Twitter and Spotify and all the other audio places, and Free Midfield podcast on YouTube.
Thank you, Kojo. So we're gonna just get it started. The first person on the list is Alan Shearer. So obviously right now
in the list, done.
We're gonna put him at number 1.
He's not moving.
He's not moving. Why is he not moving?
He's not because he's the greatest striker in the Premier League. I'll
say put him number 2, but it's what it is.
No, we're gonna put him at number 1 because why not? What we're gonna do is push everybody down when better players come in. So right now he's actually number 1. Steve, how good was Shearer for you?
Shearer had everything. He was a scorer of all different types of goals. He wasn't sort of a fox in the box type of character. Everton will testify to a couple of thunderbolt volleys from about 25 yards out that they're some of the best goals we'll ever see. 470 days out injured with a knee injury across 3 long injuries for Shearer. So if he had those games back, where would his goal record actually be? In terms of getting on. When he did his cruciate ligament 92, he didn't have the medical staff that they have now, so he lost the yard of pace. But he didn't really seem to hold him back, did it? Big, physical, strong guy, an absolute will to win, a thunderbolt of a shot, strong as an ox, a nightmare to play against. It will take a pretty compelling case for somebody else to take that number 1 spot off him this evening, and you could make an argument for leaving him there. But later on, I will make one. But mate, I don't think that goal record. You have to do 30 goals a season for 9 seasons to get anywhere near that. That's not doable in today's game, mate. So big kudos to Alan Shearer, mate. Absolute superstar.
Go on, Josh. I know you're biting to talk about Alan Shearer. Go on.
I couldn't agree more, to be honest. If you think this man missed through injury roughly 3 full seasons, if he'd played 3 full seasons at full tilt when he was at his pinnacle, he would be far and away 300 plus goals just in the Premier League.
Do you think his look and who he played for went against him? Because
absolutely,
I still even think now we just look at the goals he's scored, and it's not just Division 1; it's actually Premiership goals. And I don't feel like anybody talks about Shearer like he was the greatest. At one stage, he was the greatest, wasn't he? So I don't get what it is. There's just something about him that people don't seem to want to put him up there as the greatest. I honestly just don't know what it is. And
if he'd played for Manchester Reds, he'd be regarded as the greatest. There'd be no contest. But because he played for Newcastle, when he played for us, we were there and thereabouts. A lot of seasons, top 5. Towards the end of his career, top 10.
Yeah.
But if he'd played for, let's say, one of the bigger boys, there'd be no contest. They'd be talking about him all the time. There's a massive level of disrespect on Shearer's name.
I agree. I think
because of who he played for.
If you'd put him in United side, though, it would have been a different fit for him because United side was full of superstars. At Newcastle, no disrespect to the lads he played with, the whole club was built around Alan Shearer. So that the whole patterns of play, the game plan was about creating chances for him. At somewhere like Manchester United, granted he had still scored and shed a load of goals, there were other players around him that warranted big filling. You couldn't imagine Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance, just as an example, moulding and shaping his game for the benefit of Alan Shearer. That's not the way that guy was wired up. The same for Wayne Rooney. So I think, yes, you're right. In a side like United or one of the top 3 or 4 clubs over the years, we probably would have had more to say. To watch him, he was ruthlessly efficient. Stereotypical English number 9. He wasn't a cavalier player or a flair player like some of the foreign guys who come in. He was just amazing at everything. So I think when you see people beating 5 men and curling it in, or the Di Canio scissor kick or something like that, those are the ones that people go to because they're sensational.
It's
just amazingly consistent and good at. He had no weakness in his game other than he lacked the yard of pace, I think, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it's the whole idea of players being, I hate this word, saucy. And no, but that's what it is. Shearer, when you talk about players and all that, today fans gush over players that can do, and I do this again because they really don't, everything. And when it's everything, it's just because they drop deeper or they pass more or whatever. Your job as a striker is to score goals. And his rate of scoring goals was ridiculous. That's as simple as it gets. And the scariest thing about Shearer was how consistently he struck a ball so clean. Because when he hits a ball clean, it's difficult to save. Like, if you save it, you feel like you actually achieved something. Stopping Shearer was an achievement because he's a natural goal scorer. And it's crazy. We praise a certain group of players. There's not many of them. A certain group of players who, as they get older, change their game. As a striker, he wasn't the quickest anyway. But as you get older, you will naturally get slower. But he'll still finding ways to hit the back of the net till his last season at the club, one way or another. So you got to put more respect on the guy's name. The guy was a killer from start to finish at Newcastle, and at Blackburn, and at Southampton. He was doing it everywhere.
Absolutely right.
He was immense at Blackburn. If you look at some of the goals he scored at Blackburn, they were phenomenal.
Like, he brought them their Premier League title, for goodness sake.
He won it. He won it. He had that core of players behind him, but Shearer won it.
I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you can remember. He had a foot race with Gary Pallister for Blackburn, and he got to the ball first. And if Peter Schmeichel had got behind that ball, he'd have gone in the back of the net with the ball, mate. I've never seen anybody burst the ball. He was tremendous, mate.
He just had a lot, and I mean, a lot of people talk about the Everton goal as his greatest goal, but I disagree. I think there's one against Chelsea.
That won us the league.
Yeah,
Jesus Park.
He held off Marcel Desailly.
Yeah,
and about 35 yards out, he's holding off he's an ox, Desailly. He was at the peak of his game, holds him off like he's a child, turns him and rockets it into the bottom corner from 30 yards out.
Yeah, that
you just don't beat that.
Forget that goal.
I don't think
Andy
my dad
Cole.
will. He was asleep when it went in.
Andy Cole, who's actually third in the list in terms of goals scored. I think another player who is actually underrated and quite disrespected. 187 goals is not too shabby, and he done it for a variety of different teams. Obviously, played for Man United, played for Newcastle, played for Blackburn. So he played for quite a few teams. How good did everybody rate Andy Cole?
When I was starting to get old enough to understand football, that's when he joined the team. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoyed after that. That's the best way I can describe it. I was a young kid who followed these dads supporting Man United. I didn't know what I was heading myself into. Truth be told, actually, this is going to surprise a lot of people, but the first team I actually watched and I started to support a little bit was actually Newcastle, funny enough. And then my dad was like, no, you're not going to support Newcastle. You're going to support United with me. I was like, all right, cool, whatever then. Like that. But with Andy Cole, I think the reason why he's so disrespected is because, again, people are so in love now with the one striker by themselves and the partnerships. And I think when you're in a partnership, because it's two people don't really appreciate the work you really did. His name will be more mentioned than Dwight York, and rightfully so, but it's still held back because when you talk about him, people don't even mention the fact that he is third on the all-time list. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about strikers that have done something. I was talking about Jermaine Defoe not too long ago. Defoe's in the top 10. So he's another one that's underrated. And this is the way it's about Andy Cole. Andy Cole's range of scoring goals was also very good. Chips, the range of finishing, the runs, the way he was just difficult to mark. And what I love about strikers is sort of like when you're in a partnership and you can make a run to sort of divert the attention away from your other partner. That helped our partners in so many ways. He worked with not only Dwight York, he worked with Teddy Sheringham, even when he didn't like him. He worked with Solskjaer, like he worked with everyone. Went to Blackburn, goal scorer. Even when he went to Man City, the rate wasn't as big, but he was still scoring goals on some level. The guy was brilliant, and I think he just doesn't get enough credit for what he was actually as a striker.
Yeah,
100%. I think what he was good at was, we talk about wide men putting the ball in a certain area and front men being exponents of that ball into the box. I don't think there's a better Premier League striker than knowing where to be and when to be there and coming into the box onto a moving ball. The amount of goals he scored whilst he was on the move from close range because of the players he played with could give him the ball in the area to hurt people. Do you listen to him speak? It doesn't strike you as sort of a massively football intellect, if you get what I'm saying, but his football intelligence on the pitch in terms of where to be and when to make his runs was ridiculous. And that's a knack. You can't teach what he had. It's a natural goal scorer's sort of vision and awareness to be somewhere. So, what a tremendous player he was, and you're right, scored goals for fun. But for me, it was, he made the best of the players around him being able to put the ball into areas, and that was as much to do with him as anything else.
Yeah, Josh?
Yeah, no, do you know what? He was great. For us, he was brilliant. His partnership he had with Beardsley was fantastic. And I think he had his best years at us as well, in terms of goal scoring.
Goal scoring, yeah.
There's a lot of records he held while he was at us, but the partnership he had with York was brilliant. But he's one of them strikers. He was a partner. And that's the problem, is he did his best work in a partnership, and that's, I think, why a lot of people overlook him. His goal scoring record's brilliant. But he always had that partner alongside him that brought him together.
Yeah. Next person on the list is Tevez. Obviously, we're going to put him in at third. I don't think he's going to make the top 10. But how good was Tevez?
Tevez was class. He was class.
I'll never forgive where he went to that club after. Forget him.
He was brilliant at City.
I mean, he was brilliant at everyone. West Ham, Man United, Man City.
He was one of them players, wasn't he, that just excelled everywhere he went.
And he was self-driven. Tevez played football for Tevez in terms of the desire, the application, the work rate, the frustration when things didn't go well. And ultimately, when you go from Manchester United to Manchester City, you actually don't really care what people think about you. And that's a mental state, that is. I saw the comment. So he was quality, but he won't make the top 10 here. He's a good player, but not top 10.
Really
very explosive as a striker.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult to deal with.
I think he was like the original Suarez before Suarez. That I think he was like the first striker that I can remember really hassling defenders and being good at football and scoring as well. It was either a good goal scorer, he was good at like hustling, or he was skillful. He was one of the original ones that I think had all three. And again, he just made players around him a lot better. Just look at what he done for West Ham, to be fair. Really, really good player, but he's not going to make our top 10. Dennis Bergkamp. So we're going to bring Dennis Bergkamp in. Are we going to place him above Tevez, or are we going to put him in at fourth?
He's better than Tevez.
Above Tevez.
Yeah,
so is Tev. Steve, let you start with Dennis.
Well, the first thing that you think of when you think of Dennis Bergkamp is technique and balance, and he had that in abundance. And that often allows you to make up for a lack of pace, because Dennis Bergkamp wasn't quick, but his mind was quicker than most of the people around him. And he was a perfect foil for the likes of Henry and sort of Henry's halcyon days, if you like, at Arsenal. What I would say about Bergkamp is he had a proper nasty streak as well. He wasn't leaving the foot in. So there was a side to him that was aggressive that you didn't see. But, you look at the goal against Newcastle, which Josh has already alluded to. You look at the goal against Argentina when he pulled it out the sky and switched his feet and came into
Yeah.
our forward. That's incredible. That the technique to do that is unbelievable. Goals against Leicester, exactly the same. The guy was a blind footballer, but I always thought he was a second striker as opposed to someone who led the line. So I think for that reason, for me, he will do well to stay in the top 10. But don't get me wrong, mate. What a sensational footballer he was to watch.
And that's what one thing, because obviously what Kojo was saying earlier about a striker just being a striker, he was the first that, I mean, if you just look at Dennis Bergkamp up until Thierry Henry joined Arsenal, so whatever he'd done before Inter Milan or Ajax and the early days of Arsenal, he was a goal scorer. And as soon as Thierry Henry came, he's gone from scoring sort of like 15 to 20 goals a season to like some seasons he was getting 3 goals, but he was starting every single match. And for me, that says a lot about the player, because obviously you support Liverpool, so you had someone like Bobby that for 3 or 4 seasons hasn't really been getting 10 or 11 goals, but the work rate or what he was doing for the team was allowing other people to score. So Bergkamp stopped scoring, and then all of a sudden Perez is scoring, all of a sudden Lundberg scoring, Thierry Henry scoring. And I think, again, if we're talking about strikers and goal scoring, like I said, he's got to do well to stay in the top 10. But in just terms of a player and what he brought to the English game and what he brought to Arsenal, like it's just, he was just amazing. Kojo?
I hated when Man United played Arsenal, because those two, Henry and him. I know we'll get to Henry later, but Bergkamp was hell. I hate playing against players that have the IQ of that's just so far ahead of many others. It's ridiculous because you're asking for trouble. A player that's not quick but can still destroy you off the ball is actually a player that's just someone you don't want to deal with. The fact that he has the quality to add on top, it was hell. It went against him that he didn't score as many goals as many others on the list that will come later on. That might kick him out of the top 10. It probably will, but man, the guy was an absolute genius. And in this era of today, where stats are so much more important than actually, what other things, he would be slated a lot more. That's why you see people on Twitter move stupid and talk rubbish about him. But at the end of the day, the guy was a genius. And that's what I love more than anything. Absolutely.
And this is what we're going to get onto on this guy now, DJ Drogba.
Listen,
is he going and where third?
Please.
Yeah.
I think you can make an argument to put him in number 2.
Yeah, I'd put him above Cole.
Above Cole. So this is my argument now. Okay. For me, DJ Drogba was the originator of playing one man up front. I think he enabled Chelsea to play at one up front, and I think he brought that to the Premiership. I think that's how good he was. But my argument for, and obviously we could talk about he scored in the big finals and stuff, but if we're talking about Premiership, I'm not sure if Champions League counts, but if we would have put it there, we could put it in there. But I don't think you can get away with being a top striker, like we said about Dennis Bergkamp, and I think he played for Chelsea for 8 years, but got into double figures, I think 3 times or 4 times. So he scored 20 or more in one season, and he had 4 or 5 seasons where he scored 6, 7, and 8. And I'm just like, you're a top striker that is supposed to be scoring goals. And for me personally, I think he scored 102 in the Premiership, which it's not great. It's not great for someone of his ability and 8 years of football. I don't think that's that good, to be fair. But yeah, he was just such a beast, man. Like, as you saw, go.
Can I pick you up on that one there? I mean, I think you look at if we're doing numbers of goals scored, then the number 1 doesn't move tonight. It would be Shearer, but not just about numbers of goals scored. Drogba terrorised defences to the point where he was a target man, where he was always mobile. He pulled people all over the place. And as a result of it, Chelsea got goals from elsewhere. Drogba's movement allowed Frank Lampard to come in behind him and score goal after goal after goal for Chelsea. So I think if you're looking at as a package, and you speak about You spoke well about Bergkamp being an intellectual footballer that brought so much to the rest of the team. You ask the guys that played around Drogba how much easier he made their life because of the occupied defences, because of the physical stature of the guys, movement and strength. Lampard scored 20-odd goals a season. How many seasons in a row? Largely because he had Drogba clearing the way for him. So I think as a striker, whilst I praised Andy Cole for his runs into the box to score goals, I think Didier Drogba added a little bit more to his all-round game that would benefit the team than Andy Cole did. That's just my opinion, guys.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Kojo?
For me, it's a tough one because what he says is right. And to be honest here, Drogba actually scored my favourite Premier League goal. Actually, it's my top three. He's one of my top three favourite Premier League goals of all time. The one against Everton when he chested it from I don't know how long, and then he just smacked it, and the way the ball swerved, and that goal was incredible. I think because of what he brought in terms of off the ball as well, you can compensate for his on the ball and not many goals because, as they've just said, Lampard was adding goals. And bear in mind the kind of partners he had there. He had Damien Duff, he had Matthias Kejman, he had so many players. And one way or another, apart from Kejman didn't really contribute that much, but he was a dud. But apart from that, many other players were able to score many goals, and he helped create a lot of type of goals. The goals from with his back to goal were crazy. Against Liverpool, he scored a ridiculous goal. Against Arsenal, I think when the ball was sort of coming behind him, he sort of flicked it near post. The guy was incredible. Against Man United, a wonderful header when he came back for his second tenure. So, I mean, for me, though, it's not a table of just goals, because if we do that, we're going to be here.
It's not just goals.
But I think what Cole added with goals and what it really meant was, United were winning titles before him, but United were never winning trebles before him. I feel like he added that little element. And Chelsea, yes, Drogba did do wonderfully well in cup finals, but I think Cole just has a bit more in his bank in the Premier League to add to him rather than Drogba. But yeah, that's why I put Drogba third for now, for me personally.
Josh, what are you saying for Drogba, third or second?
Do you know what, third? He was a beast. Right, don't get me wrong, he was a beast. But the best game I ever saw Drogba play wasn't even in a Chelsea shirt. It was in a Marseille shirt.
What, the Europa League one? UEFA Cup?
No, the game against us, the semi-final against us. That man ran the show for 90 minutes. He was insane. He was only young. But what he brought to the Chelsea team was a mixture of everything. Lampard wouldn't have as many goals as he's got now if it wasn't for Drogba.
And I think that's the shame that Lampard has come out not a better striker, but a better goal scorer in the end than Drogba. So, but I mean, I'm Drogba third, to be fair. Amazing player. I think we only beat in 12 games that Drogba played against Arsenal. I think we beat him once. So he
big
was
game player.
Yeah, just a massive big game player. Next person on the list is Diego Costa. I think
Diego Costa.
He's not even worth the effort.
I mean, he was a good, very, very good footballer. Just with the connection with Cesc Fabregas just propelled them to that league. To be honest, I'm happy to keep him below Tevez.
I think that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So
I mean, biting people and stuff like that. I don't think we.
It's just a lunatic. It was just a lunatic.
Yeah, it's just a lunatic.
That's all he was.
But he was a very good player. This person, one of my favorite players that didn't play for Arsenal, Berbatov.
Class.
Technically beautiful, that guy was.
How far would we be putting him right now? 5th, 6th, 7th?
I'll put him above Bergkamp.
So move all of these down.
I was going to say, it's a tough one though.
I'd put him above Bergkamp.
I wasn't sure about putting him above Tevez even. I don't know.
Above Bergkamp.
I'd put him above Bergkamp. Yeah.
No.
Wow, why is that? I want to hear why. Because
I just think the man was a genius. I just think he tactically had it all. He wasn't the best goal scorer.
You know what? I have him as equal to Dennis Bergkamp.
I could go with that.
I have him
Wow.
equal, to be fair. I just love them both, man. They were just both amazing footballers. Obviously Bergkamp was slightly longer because obviously he came over earlier, so obviously he had a slightly longer time in the Premiership. But Berbatov, that season when it was it Berbatov, Rooney and thing, just
Phenomenal.
that goal that he scored against Fulham. Yeah. You just don't expect it from him as well. I think that was one of the things. I think Bergkamp was just one of those players that he only had one sort of goal, and it was just a good goal. Like Bergkamp just didn't score rubbish goals. He had no in between. Like he just scored good goals. That was just Dennis Bergkamp, and setting other people up. But Berbatov had a bit more in terms of different types of goals. He also set people up as well quite a bit. I was still having just
genius.
Yeah. But he was, I don't know. I thought it was just top drawer, man.
His first touch was unreal. He could take the whole defence out of his first touch, and that would be the reason why I would be happy to put him alongside Bergkamp. That's doable. I think they both merit that position in their own right. But Bergkamp was a special footballer with just such a good awareness, and as I say, that first touch was incredible.
Very similar players.
Very similar.
You know, I'll accept that because I'm not sure, so I'll just accept that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
because as you guys were talking, I was checking their records even.
Yeah, I'm looking at them. He's got 9 more. Is that 8 more?
Berbatov, I think Berbatov has more goals, but
Bergkamp
obviously has more assists. But then when you even check their goal records overall and their whole career, Berbatov always has less games, but the goals and the assists are like this close. So I don't know. You might have a point about Berbatov, and maybe it's taken me this long to realize it because I've been so in love with Bergkamp.
But Premiership, if we look at Premiership, that's
Premier League. Berbatov.
I'm happy to put them together. To be fair, like I'm happy.
Neither of them are in the top 10.
Yeah, they might even survive it. So yeah, we'll put them like that for now. Okay. Who's the next on the list? Dion Dublin. We're gonna just put him at 8, because he was just good.
He played everywhere. This man played
centre back, didn't he? I remember.
He played for Manchester Reds, Coventry, Villa. Like Norwich. I love him. He was quality.
Yeah.
Do you call us Manchester Reds because you just don't like us?
Do you know what? I really hate Man United. Do you know what it is? My dad is a Manchester United fan, and I had it all my life. He hated Alan Shearer, and I loved Alan Shearer, and it was a constant battle. But when we were good, Man United was slightly better.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I've just always held on to it. I'm just bitter.
Yeah. Steve. Dion
Dublin winning the league.
Dion Dublin was underrated. Unfortunately, to break his leg in his first few games at Manchester United.
Yeah.
So who really knows what he could have achieved? Didn't get the credit he deserved on the floor, but an absolute colossus in the air. What a big, physical, strong centre forward he was, and he was around at the right time for that type of forward. But you know, when we get to the bottom of this list, he will be near the bottom, and that's only because of the competition that he's up against. He was a good footballer, but certainly not somebody that would trouble this top 10 for me. Won't get close.
Another nasty. He had a bit of a nasty streak in him as well, to be fair. Just next guy, Dwight York. Is he above Dion Dublin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, can he sell your house like Dion Dublin?
Yeah. Dwight
York, I'd leave him there. I don't think he's as good as what's above him. He was a good striker.
I'd put him over Diego Costa.
He played for Sunderland, so he stays down there.
He played for Man United as well.
Yeah, he's in the middle, isn't he? He's in the middle.
I'd have him be above Diego Costa.
Steve, would you?
No.
Okay, so he's going to stay there.
Part of the partnership again, wasn't he? He was part of the partnership. And that's what it was. It was a partnership with Solskjaer, be it Cole, be it Sheringham. And don't get me wrong, he's very, very good at that. They're going to stepping over the ball and creating space for somebody to run in behind by dummy and the defenders and all that stuff. but I just don't think he had the versatility and the attributes and the all-round game that Drogba had. So for that reason, I probably couldn't put him above.
Yeah. Oh, 123 goals.
That's what I'm saying in the Premier League.
That is
It's
very
not
good.
It's not that bad in the Premier League.
Was that mostly for Villa though?
Yeah, I think it was. I think his Villa days were probably better than Man United days, to be fair.
It was cracking at Villa.
Yeah, so Andy Cole was definitely the more prominent goal scorer.
Yeah, but 123 goals isn't shabby, like considering some of the players that have played in the league and how long they played.
When the league was hard as well.
Yeah, like when they actually had defenders and stuff. So, yeah,
alongside Drogba, comparable with Drogba, like we did with Bergkamp and Berbatov, maybe.
So, I'll put him there. He can stay there. I don't think either will stay in the top 10 either. So, it's quite safe. Yeah. Adebayor, for me, obviously, I think he'll.
I'd put him under Dublin.
I'll put him above Dublin.
I'll put him above Dublin.
No, to be
Adebayor
fair,
Adebayor was so good. You know what Adebayor's problem was? He was in his head. He was in his own head. And I think he was one of those people that let money and things sway his head. The guy had, for Arsenal, as soon as Thierry Henry left, the guy was amazing. For those 2 years or whatever it was that he was at Arsenal, the guy was amazing. He scored every type of goal. He was our DJ Drogba. He would do the same things as DJ Drogba, but in his head, he was even bigger than that. He thought he was good enough to be playing for. Obviously, in the end, he did get moved to Real Madrid, but he thought he was on that sort of level when at the time he wasn't. And obviously, like his attitude and stuff like that. But if you see the goals, if you go through his catalogue of goals that he actually scored, he scored some amazing goals. But again, he's just an arse. So
that's what puts you off of them, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's their mentality. I mean, what's he most famous for? It's not his goal scoring; it's his celebration against you.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
An incredible celebration, by the way.
It was brilliant. But
just
you don't remember him for his goal scoring ability.
Yeah, which is
that's not what you want from it. He was a good goal scorer. Did he bring much to the team from what I saw? Not really.
I mean, on the floor, he was probably better than people thought as well. But again, like saying, he was just an arse, and I think those things go against you when you're just a bit of an arse. That you quickly. I mean, he got 50 assists as well, so 97 goals and 50 assists in the Premiership isn't too bad. But again, I think it just goes against you when you're a bit of a douchebag. Kojo.
I think you said it perfectly. His goals were really good, especially for Tottenham and Arsenal. But yeah, he doesn't go any higher than that. He's above Dublin just because he's better than Dublin. That's as far as it goes. Yeah. Apart from that, no.
Yeah.
He's calm there.
Steve?
No, I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
He was a good footballer. He did score lots of different types of goals. And if someone could have worked with him to stop the nonsense between what was going on between his ears, you might have had a bit more of a career out of him. But you know what? The fact that he was like that probably made him the player that he was. Probably overachieved a little bit. Can't knock a player for self-belief, but you can knock a player for, like you said, the perfect word for being an arse, and that's exactly what he was. So yeah,
it's quite his talent, isn't it?
Yeah. I agree.
But he's not as good as anyone above him. So
Eric Cantona.
See,
this is hard because we're talking about Premiership. He didn't play that much in the Premiership, so putting him high up, I don't think is fair. But
no. I would put him high up.
No, but that's not fair though, because if you've only played I think he played, was it 6 seasons or something like that in the actual Premiership?
How long was he at Leeds?
But that was Division 1.
I know, but they came.
I think he was there for 2 years. I think he was 2 years at Leeds. Someone may need to check that for me.
This is really hard for me to say because like you, Josh, I really don't like Manchester Reds because I'm a Liverpool fan. So respect to them. That's just how it is. He taught Manchester United to play football, mate. He taught Manchester United how to be in the final third. He brought a swagger and a class to that football club that assisted Ferguson. So for me, on that list, he'd be above Drogba for me. He'd be that far off the list. Mate, you take about Manchester United's history, they don't achieve what they achieved because it changed the mentality of the football club. So I think realistically, you talk about Ferguson, you talk about Class of '92, you talk about building an iconic football club for the ages. You have to include Eric Cantona in one of the pivotal moments of that football club's history. I think you can't ignore that.
He's like it's a fan.
I actually agree, yeah, I know he did, but
yeah, but the fan deserved it.
He did.
If it's true what was said, then yeah, he 110% deserved it. And just the fact he was allowed to come back and play football again was a bit mad, but yeah, he looked like it seemed like he deserved it because I don't think anyone would just do that. To be fair, like it's not something you just normally do. Yeah, I mean, I watched Cantona play. Again, another one that wasn't a goal scorer as such. He got goals, but wasn't a goal scorer as such. But like Steve was saying, you hit the nail on the head. He made United what they are. He made them attractive to go and play for. To be fair, so yeah, I'm happy with having him high up the list. Josh, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think he's in the wrong place. I think he should be joint second on that list of players that we've got there.
I'd be happy with that.
I think he's just as good as
the majority, Kojo. I mean, it's up to you.
And that
the majority is saying second right now.
I'd say he's as good as Cole. He brought more to Manchester United than Andy Cole did. Because it's not just about goals; it's about the player, and he was fantastic.
So on that comment there, and I agree, is Cole now third and Cantona second?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to swap them around.
I think that's a fair reflection based. Josh, you're absolutely spot on there, by the way, mate. I think that is a better thing.
I've got 2 Manchester Red guys in there, so I'll take that.
It hurts. That hurts for me to say that because I'm only going to have one player in this list. So.
This guy here, probably the best and the worst I've ever seen in one go. Fernando Torres. How far are we putting him up?
Liverpool Torres is probably third in the list.
Yeah.
Chelsea Torres is probably 9th in the list.
Chelsea Torres is not in the list.
Liverpool Torres was the best striker on the planet at the time.
Correct.
He was ridiculously good. Like you couldn't play against him. It was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm, at the moment, the reason why I'm putting him in 5th is because we cannot disregard what came after. And that was a big money move and going to a great team.
He had a really bad injury and it cost him a yard of pace. And then he talked about a promise that Liverpool Football Club made to him. And the best way I can describe Fernando Torres is it's like somebody reached in and switched him off. Because it was almost overnight. The decline was almost overnight. And at Chelsea, he was a pale shadow of the man at Liverpool. So I don't think his Premier League career warrants anything higher than that. I think Josh is 100% correct. For 18 months against Liverpool, he was totally unplayable.
And I think when we're talking about everything, we're talking about the mentality and stuff as well, which, like you alluded to, Shearer, massive injuries. Some of these players had some massive injuries and they were able to come back from it. You know, like you're saying, Torres had an injury, but I think his mentality wasn't there to push on because, like you said, he could have easily have won Ballon d'Or if he just carried on being the Liverpool Fernando Torres for me, but he didn't for whatever reason. Kojo, being a Man United fan.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Torres, you're a Man United fan. You know what Torres did to my team. So
killed Vidic, man. He killed Vidic so many times.
That's the thing because Vidic gets slandered solely for that. Vidic was so good, but Torres' name comes up and it's like, bloody hell. And I can close my eyes right now and I can see him falling over. And then at another game, I can see him get red carded. I can just see it already. And it's the same fall as well. Torres was his up every time. He was a nightmare to play against, and I agree.
Have you watched Gary Neville's Soccer Box, where he's on with Steven Gerrard, and they talk about Vidic? Liverpool targeted Vidic with Torres. They actually singled him out as a weakness. And that's because Torres had his number. He was strong. He's not stronger than people gave him credit for, Torres.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think when Gerard said that, for me it was like I'm not surprised because for me Ferdinand was better than Vidic anyway, and I'm like a lot of well, Josh doesn't think so. A lot of strikers from what I've read have always said like naturally you would target the weaker defender. At the end of the day, you're gonna go and bully and frustrate that guy. And for me, Vidic was very good, but he was just like this much behind Rio. This much.
Hot-headed,
It was
wasn't he?
as well. I think as well, you've got to look at how long as well. Rio didn't really have a dip. He didn't until he just got old and he couldn't run anymore. That's when his dip came. And again, I don't know. Vidic is. I know, but I mean, like his career wasn't as big, wasn't as long. We could say that in the Premiership anyway. It wasn't as as long. But I will always say, me personally, I think Rio Ferdinand is probably the best centre back to have played in the Premiership, personally. But that's a different show. But yeah, Torres, amazing footballer. But that Chelsea dip, and even with that Chelsea dip, he still scored important goals, didn't he? But
the mentality killed him.
Yeah, the mentality.
But
Gianfranco
Liverpool
Zola.
Torres was class.
Where's Zola going on this list?
He's better than Tevez. He's better than Tevez.
Yeah, I'd put him 6th actually. Yeah,
he's better than he's better than Tevez. He's better than York.
We're gonna move everyone down.
He was one of those guys that for some reason doesn't get the mentions. He's not mentioned as much as he should be, even by Chelsea fans.
You know what?
Even by Chelsea fans don't mention it, and it baffles me because he was such a genius to watch. The players they love now that dribble so much, he could do all of that and more. So what is it about him that doesn't get such a mention? He could create goals.
Chelsea weren't good. That's what it is.
No,
Chelsea
he didn't win it.
Chelsea were good. Chelsea were good.
They weren't good.
Not
at that time.
No, Chelsea were good. They weren't magnificent. They weren't fantastic.
Nah, nobody.
Chelsea were. Desailly. Look at the caliber of players they had.
The caliber of players that they had, but where did they finish every season? They didn't. Nobody had.
No, come on, bro.
It's only people only respected them when they got money. That's when Chelsea became. That's when people started supporting Chelsea.
But let's be serious though. They weren't finishing 15th. They weren't Southampton with just.
Were they bigger than Newcastle? No,
they weren't. No, they weren't bigger than Newcastle. But that doesn't make them
exactly.
They
weren't a big team.
If you say Newcastle weren't bigger than Man United, so that would mean that Newcastle weren't a good team. Newcastle were a good team. They had Laurent Robert. They had Nobi Solano. They had good players. So you go to Chelsea now with that kind of players that they had, Carlo Cudicini in goal. The only person I didn't rate in that team was Babayaro, to be honest. But apart from him, like Desailly, all the players that they had a good team. And good went to fantastic, because fantastic is when they became money bags and they started getting proper talent on top of that. Zola was fantastic. So I think
you could say the likes of Desailly, Vialli, Gullit, players like that went to Chelsea to finish their career rather than at the height of their career. That's very telling in the regard that those players had seen their best days at their previous clubs. I think you're right. If Chelsea had been up the top, Zola would be getting the credit that his ability deserves. But it was always Manchester United and Arsenal for a long period when Zola was playing. So
that was exactly it.
Right now.
That's where all the top players, or the ones that were top, were going to finish their career. I mean, I think it was probably around what year did Zola join? I can't remember, but it was when Ruud Gullit was manager, so not sort of 95, 96 sort of times. Chelsea were 11th and below, and then like you're saying, Zola came and he made them a bit more fashionable, and then I think they started finishing top 10 a lot more. But Steve said it perfectly. They had people like Desailly, Vialli. Zola's a tough one because he had a good career and was still having a good career. but like Vincent Bogard and all those people that had Rijkaard and all of those people, they were going to Chelsea to finish what finish their career.
But what does that do for him as an individual?
I'm just saying, like he wasn't like Chelsea wasn't that fashionable, and I'm saying that's why he probably wasn't. He's not talked about as the really top.
But he made them a better side.
Yeah, he made them a better side, but no one's going to care about that. People only care about.
I'm not saying that he's going to be on this top 10 list in general anyway.
Yeah.
But as regards to the respect that he doesn't get, I feel like he's someone that should be mentioned a bit more. And that's not saying near Bergkamp or Cantona or even Shearer or those man. Like he's not there. But he definitely a level of respect.
Yeah, no, top player, and I think 59 goals goes against him as well.
It does. But this is the era of stats now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a great return, but I agree with you. You know what? You know who I think was I wouldn't say he's better than him, but I think who I think is on his level. Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah, I think Di Canio is overrated.
That's what I was about to say.
Di Canio was so good, and I think people have to know about Di Canio before he came to the Premiership as well, and see how good he was of a footballer. I think people just an arse. So
scored one of the best goals in Premier League history, though.
Yeah, he scored, but he's just a arse. This guy now, Harry Kane,
this killer, absolute killer.
Harry Kane's the best striker in the league at the minute.
Yeah, obviously, because he's
probably second best in the world.
I will say this right now. I don't know if you guys will agree with me. I want you to move Bergkamp and those other guys down to the next tier because Harry Kane is battling with Cole.
Harry Kane's better than Cole.
As an all-round player, absolutely clear. I'm not even going to argue that. I will never argue that.
Because this guy is down one, yeah.
It hurts me that he's at Tottenham not winning anything. It actually hurts me. A player of that caliber should be winning things.
Doesn't hurt me, boy.
I know it doesn't hurt you.
He needs to go to Madrid or Barca. He needs to get out of the Premier League. He's going to win anything.
I think
what he needs to stop doing is endangering other footballers. I have a real problem with his snidey tactics.
Yeah,
the shoulder and the side of the head on the Arsenal player is a red card.
That was so naughty as well, man. And I think that was frustration, isn't it?
The backing in. It's the backing in. It's disgusting.
Last week when he let the ball run off to the left and then dove in on the guy who was only blocking where the ball was supposed to be and won a penalty. That belongs under the title of cheating. And for that reason, I have a problem with it.
It's cheating. Gary Neville will have you saying it's clever tactics. For me, it's cheating. Some of it is quite dangerous, like Josh was saying. But
was it against Lallana where he nearly broke his neck?
Yeah.
Arsenal in the first game as well. He done it to Gabriel.
Yeah.
But footballing ability, goal scoring,
I think right up there.
I think he's the modern Alan Shearer. I think
he's not as good as Shearer.
That's how good he is. He's gonna surpass Shearer.
If he's gonna do that, he better move to Man City then.
He's got to get 100 goals. He's on 160, isn't he? But he won't. He will not beat Shearer.
And he's only what? He's 28.
27.
Or 27.
No, he's 28. I'm sure he's 28.
And he's scoring this playing for Spurs.
I think
he's playing for Spurs, and he's still getting 20. The only thing that's going to kill Kane is injuries. I know you guys are saying Alan Shearer had quite a bit of time out. Kane has this, he just has 6 to 10 games out a season. Every year, literally every year. So I think, when you're talking about great players, do you factor in injuries or do you just say it's part of football?
It's part of football.
Yeah.
Every one of those players on that list has had an injury at some point. You could sit here and have a conversation.
It's really weird because there are people that you look at them and they just don't get injured. Is that just luck?
Yeah. Genetic makeup as well. The heavy, big bones and all that nonsense that people talk about. There are some players that don't suffer injuries, but it goes with the flow. It is what it is. Some of those players will drift out of form and miss half a dozen games every 6 months because they're not playing particularly well. So I think it's like a league table for me. At the end of the season, You take everything that comes your way into consideration, and the numbers don't lie. And it's exactly the same for these fellas.
Yeah, I agree. This guy is he was in my top 5, but again, it's a bit because a lot of it wasn't in the actual Premiership. Ian Wright,
love him.
Love him.
I
But
absolutely love him.
it's
Right?
Brilliant,
not
absolutely brilliant.
113. I think it is in the Premiership because obviously the rest came in Division 1. How high are we putting him up?
Is he as good as Torres was in his whole career in the Premier League? You could probably say it's comparable with him. If Torres hadn't gone to Chelsea, we've had that conversation. But they're similar impact, aren't they?
Yeah.
Ian Wright
for me, with Ian Wright, was left foot, right foot, header, lob, chip, character, overhead kick, everything, penalties. He just scored every single type of goal that you could imagine. There was a goal against Aston Villa where he just ran from the halfway line and ran through their team and slotted it. There's just... I've watched these 179 goal DVD probably about 50 times. Like I used to just watch it every day, wake up in the morning and just watch it. And I think, again, one of those players that everybody wanted to be in school, he was one of those players. So that's when you can kind of tell who's sort of top in that. He was one of those players. I just loved him. How did you guys feel about him?
I thought he was brilliant.
Played with a smile on his face, and the people around him, they responded to that, didn't they? There was a guy that was living his dream, absolutely living a dream, wasn't he? But you know what? He contributed, he delivered in living that dream. And that's often the difference. Quite strong mentally, Ian, right? Don't think he gets the credit for that. We've suffered a lot of, let's be honest, when he started playing, he suffered a lot of abuse for the reasons that we talk about all the time now.
Yeah.
And he rode through that. He showed a great strength of character. And he would have been a marvellous person to have in your dressing room. He would have been superb for team spirit. So love him to bits, mate. Absolutely love the guy to bits.
How late he started his career as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's comparable to Jamie Vardy in terms of how late they actually got into like top division football, and it kind of helped them that they could carry on a little bit longer because they weren't playing at the higher level when they were younger. But yeah, I just love him so much, man.
He was just great, and I think he'd have had a much better international career if he hadn't had the strikers in front of him. Shearer,
Sheringham,
Cole.
He was just so unlucky. Yeah, literally.
But in terms of talent and the character rising through, he's just an amazing bloke, isn't he?
And I think that's one of the things that can push him high. That can get him higher in the top 10 is, like we're saying, some people were on us. He was the opposite, and I think there's not many people that don't love him even now. Like he's just seems to be a great person, man.
I put him higher than that personally. Personally, I put him alongside Cole, but that's just my opinion.
No, I'll be okay with that.
Ooh,
I think Torres was phenomenal, but it wasn't for a long enough period.
Yeah.
Ian Wright just delivered for years.
I just like when now I'm looking at it, I'm just seeing how it's making me think how not bad football is now, but how
football's not the same as it was.
Yeah, how blessed we were to see some of these actual just footballers, and I think football's just turned into athletes and tactics
and money.
over natural ability now. But yeah, I love Ian Wright.
Jamie Vardy. It's interesting. Do you think in 5 years' time we might look at some of the players we've had now in the same way? You often speak more highly of people when they're not around anymore, don't we? Football. So
I think you know who I think is up there with that is two people, Paul Scholes and Alan Shearer. I think you didn't appreciate them as much when they were playing, but when they stopped playing, it was like, wow, like these were some proper ballers, but just didn't get that much respect at the time. And again, it's just. I think even down to personality, if you're just quiet and just humble, you don't get noticed. So I think it kind of goes against you. You just get on with it. It goes against you sometimes.
You mentioned Scholes. Scholes didn't like the limelight. He just wanted to play football. But that bloke was one of the best, most naturally gifted players you'll ever see on the pitch.
Agreed.
And again, it hurts because it was for them, but he was fun. There was a story. Ben Foster, he told a story about Scholes, and it was just saying how he watched him. He just used to stand there and say, "Wow." Every time he got the ball, he'd be like, "Wow, what is he doing now?" And the coaching staff would go, "Oh, was that just Scholes?" Yeah, don't worry, does that all the time.
I'm just moving some of these players because obviously I'm worried about the time, and I don't think there's need to talk about some of them because I don't think they'll make the top 10. So I'm gonna put some that I think will make the top 10 up there. Cool. No, what am I doing? Kevin Phillips, nah. Aguero.
Do you know what I'm gonna say? Kevin Phillips. Now I dislike them more than I dislike Man United. But Kevin Phillips was absolutely incredible striker.
Yeah, because you just look at the sheer amount of goals he scored for a rubbish team.
Ridiculous.
It's just
I would have
amazing,
begged for him to come and play for us, and I think he could have played for any top 6 team at the time.
Yeah,
he was class, and he's the only player from them that I would ever see in black and white.
I've bumped Aguero up to 3rd place.
That list is second.
Amazing goal scorer. Do you think he's an all-round footballer as much as some of the other people, or is he just great at what he does?
Do you know what he's done? He's adapted and changed his game. Because when Guardiola came to Manchester City, you have to give Aguero credit for this. Guardiola didn't fancy him, and he often missed out because he didn't have certain parts to his game that were Guardiola-esque. He went away and changed and restructured his game, and Manchester City are what they are today because of Aguero's influence more than anybody else for me. Yeah. So if we're having the same conversation about Cantona being a catalyst for United's growth, you've got to put Aguero next to Cantona for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
I'd put him above Cantona.
Wow. What, right at the top?
Above Cantona. I'd put him second, yeah.
I actually agree.
Personally, I think he's brought more.
Once we get everybody in, we'll start kicking people out. So at the moment, Guerrero is just an amazing at what he does, which is what he's supposed to do, isn't it? Yeah, it's just a natural football.
You can't give him an inch, can you? You can't give him an inch. You just can't do it.
Yeah, you can't give him any sort of room. This guy, Ruud van Pooed himself against Arsenal.
I hate this guy.
I love him so much. I love him so much.
How high are we putting this guy up?
Yeah, I'd actually put him next to Kane, you know.
Yeah.
100 goals in 3 seasons.
Brilliant.
Is that all round? Not Premiership, that's all round, isn't it?
That might be all round. I can't remember.
That doesn't matter. Just 100 goals in 3 seasons.
Yeah, 100 goals. Bearing in mind that he came after an ACL injury, so it's supposed to come that year prior. He got injured.
Yeah, and then he got injured straight away, didn't he?
We've got delayed by a year. He came in and immediately was scoring goals. And I think that I think people tend to miss out about Ruud is they always talk about the fact that he was so good in the box, but outside the box, he was also very good as well. Obviously, when it comes to the whole Henry debate, we know he wasn't as good as Thierry Henry. That's fine. You don't have to be as good as a player to be good at doing stuff outside and other aspects of your gameplay. Yeah, the guy was just man. I there's very few times that a player has left Man United and I've genuinely been like, man, why are you going upset? And he's one of them. He's one of them. That guy was an absolute killer. I think what hurts him on one level is, I say hurts him for some people anyway, is that because Henry was there and he, in the 5 seasons at United, Henry won 4 of the Golden Boots.
That hurt him though, didn't it? When he was talking about it the other day.
Yeah, he said it because he was competitive, but you want to compete against the very best. And Henry was the very best. Mm-hmm. But apart from Henry, who else challenged him in that league? No one came close. Yeah. And he was so good, so good. I have to put him third. I actually put him above Andy Cole, and that's saying something because Andy Cole for me is one of the greatest, most underrated strikers ever. But I feel like if Ruud van Nistelrooy has stayed in England, he would have cleared records. Maybe not Shearer's records, but he would have cleared records.
When you got 95 goals, which again, like you say, for a short space of time, one less than Yakubu.
Big yak.
The yak.
But yeah,
you just totally dissed the madness word legacy.
This guy here, Nicholas Anelka, honestly,
Underrated.
I'm up here with this guy. I think he's on Drogba's level.
No.
I don't.
Honestly,
I think he's on the same level as Torres.
He's on
Yeah,
Torres'
I
level.
don't put him. I want to put him near Drogba.
Longevity.
Nah.
He was in the Premier League for a long time, longevity-wise, and what
he
he did and what he
came
delivered.
back 10 times, didn't he?
But he's not that high.
Listen, honestly,
I'd have him Zola.
Watching him play for Arsenal, obviously, Steve played for you guys. Drogba said it himself, probably the best player he's played with as well. It's just the thing is, people don't realize, again, 125 goals is not for someone that just kept leaving the country and coming back. That's just amazing.
How many years is it? 125 goals over? Is it like 8, 9?
It's probably over like 15 years. He just kept going and coming back, didn't he?
So it's 10 goals a season.
Like,
He's never prolific, was he? Never actually prolific.
And not even was Drogba though. That's the thing.
Drogba was a better player though.
I'd have taken Drogba over Anelka every day of the week, mate.
I think he's on that level. I don't think he's any higher. I'll put him down here with Anelka because I know I'm losing right now, so I will put him down there. But he was just, I mean, how many times did he win the league? 2 times, 3 times?
So Chelsea,
as a bit part player.
No, Chelsea wasn't a bit part player 2010.
Yeah, he came back.
He was Bolton's best player, wasn't he?
He helped us win the league when Wrighty got injured in that season. But
do you know what? He killed us in the FA Cup final as well.
Exactly. That pace. He was just again underrated, but again, bit of an arse. So that goes against you in my list. So I want to move him down.
Horrible attitude.
Horrible. Jamie Vardy.
Very, very,
honestly,
very
top 5.
Yeah, I would agree.
Definitely above Drogba.
Yeah, I would agree because what he's done for Leicester in such a short amount of time is very underrated. His goal scoring record is ridiculous as well.
This is his worst season, isn't it? I think it's his worst season. Yeah, and he's got only got 12 goals.
And it's taken a while.
Yeah, but is he not like 33, 34 now?
That's the thing. Like he's he's old. He's getting old, isn't he?
And I think he's lost nothing, man. He's got.
I think that's the thing now. Because he's so he's losing pace. He's probably the same pace as the average person, but he's getting to be the same pace as the average person. When Jamie Vardy misses a chance, you're like, what just happened there? I think it was in the last. Was it I can't remember who their last game was.
It was us when he had that sort of 1-on-1 and he hit wide.
And he put it wide, and I was just like, wow, he's just missed a chance. And that's how highly I think of Jamie Vardy, to be fair. You have to respect him for turning down Arsenal at the time as well. He knew he may not have been the top player, and he knew that his style of play didn't suit Arsenal. So he stayed where he knew they were going to build the team around him, and they continue to build the team around him, and it's working. It's just amazing what he's doing, to be fair. Steve?
Yeah, very, very clever footballer, knows his limitations, knows what he's good at. And credit to Brendan Rodgers for sort of giving him a swan song to his career by shifting Leicester's tactics a little bit and getting him to do the things he does well. He's been lethal, hasn't he? He's been an absolute, lethal over the years, but time's catching up with him, and I think, where he is now fits for me, really, to be fair.
I think as well, where you mentioned the clever footballer, I think people don't realise how clever he is actually. He knows what he's doing. He always knows who's to target. You could tell he studies defenders and knows which ones to target and which ones to stay away from, which obviously just shows
I think
good he is.
He also holds the record for the most consecutive games where he scored a goal.
I think it's 8 or 9 when didn't he beat Van Nistelrooy?
No, it's 12.
Didn't he? He broke that record against Manchester Reds.
12 games in a row, wasn't it?
So that takes some doing playing for Leicester, by the way. So let's not discredit.
This guy here, Michael Owen, who for me had the biggest. If we take away his injuries, he honestly would have beat Alan Shearer's record.
Nah, he would.
No,
Hand
on heart. I don't think so.
He would have beat. He would have. He would.
No, he wouldn't.
I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. This guy, I've seen Owen play like loads of times. The guy, even when he was injured, I think Newcastle was probably his worst.
We don't associate
Stoke. Let's say Stoke was his worst time. But wherever the guy went, even when he was injured, he scored goals. Even went to Madrid, scored goals. Those 4 or 5 years or whatever it's how long was he at you guys for? Oh, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, about 5 years. But
amazing.
The thing is,
there's not many people that can run with the ball at that pace.
If you listen to him, he will tell you his career was over at 20. His career was over at 20. I was just listening to a podcast he did with Jamie Carragher just this week.
Mm-hmm.
From 13 to 19, he says he was the best 13 to 19-year-old in the world, and he feared nobody. From 1920 onwards, his career was in decline because he could not get over his injuries. And you're right, the guy was absolutely prolific. He was, when he burst onto the scene at Liverpool, that explosive pace, we saw it against Argentina, absolutely tremendous. But he was a guy that solely relied on pace. And he admits himself, when he had to start playing, coming short and showing for the ball and making it 5-yard movements, that wasn't his game.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think he's the same as Jamie Vardy, to be fair, because he only had one way of playing, and that's all he could do. And again, like we're saying, if we would have put Jamie Vardy in, say, Arsenal's team at the time when Wenger tried to sign him, I don't think he scores as many goals as he's getting now, because it's just not the football. He's not the one to get involved in the game and stuff like that. It was just solely hanging on the last defender and getting chances.
But he won a Ballon d'Or at 21 as well, don't forget. So you got to put some respect on that as well.
I just thought it was amazing. I thought it was just amazing.
He was a fantastic teenager, but there's a reason Liverpool sold him when they did.
Hey, because of injuries, they knew that he was just going to keep getting injured, didn't it? They ran. I don't know, Steve, you probably know better. Do you feel like they just ran him into the ground when he burst onto the scene? Because
I know
you couldn't drop him.
He snapped his Achilles snapped his hamstring. Snapped it. That is really hard to do. He actually snapped it. Whilst he was recovering, it was a 6-month injury. Gerard Houllier went to see him in his room and asked him to play in a pre-season game because Gerard Houllier was under pressure. That was 7 weeks ahead of his fitness schedule. That's the type of pressure that Liverpool put him under. And that's what chasing the Holy Grail, when you come off the top perch, you try and win things, it takes you many years to get back to where you were. That's the risk managers take. We destroyed him. Absolutely destroyed the guy.
Yeah, I agree. Kojo, last words on him?
I'm just happy that his one title came with us. Because I know that peed off so many Liverpool fans. Like, I couldn't believe it when we signed him. I was like, hold on, surely not. Like, I was going, where was I? I was going home that day from my cousin's house, and I'm on my phone and I get a text and he goes, "Yo, Owen signed for United." I was like, "What Owen? That can't be Michael. What's he talking about?" Nah, you're lying. He goes, "Michael Owen." I was like, "You're lying." I get home, I turn on the news, Michael Owen's holding the United shirt. I was like, "Yo, you're actually in the mix now. What's he doing here?" And then I'm like, "Hold on, Liverpool legend. He's gonna get a big title here." So like Van Persie did. All right, cool. It's a beautiful story for us. But no, he needed a title. I think he needed a title. I think that's what puts him up at another level, because you can't have such a good career in the league and not have an accolade. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about with Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Because if Harry Kane wins the League Cup, that's all well and good. But like I say, you don't want to be that pundit when you've retired, sitting on the panel with winners, and then your name comes up and it says League Cup winner and nothing else. You don't want to be that guy. So I think he needed that. But the guy in his Liverpool years, absolute god. That's as far as I go. A striker, killer, absolute killer as well. I hate it. It was hell. I think his best performance was, for me, I don't know about Steve and I don't know about other Liverpool fans, but for me, watching him, the performance on a domestic scale, for me was when he the FA Cup final against Arsenal. That performance.
That's why. That's just solely on that.
Wow.
I would put him in there. Someone that for me is probably a better finisher than him, Robbie Fowler. Where are we putting Robbie Fowler on the list?
Alongside Vardy. Robbie Fowler was ridiculously good. Go back to Eric Cantona's comeback game. Robbie Fowler scores 2 goals in that game, including a near post thunderbolt, which Michael didn't even see. Just a natural ability to find the corners. The games against Newcastle, the 4-3, he was pivotal in that, where he scored with the header and dove into the net after the ball and stuff like that.
Craziest celebration ever.
If you talk to any Liverpool player that played around him, he's the best finisher the football club's ever had, bar none.
100%. You can see it. That hat trick that he scored against Arsenal, was it the quickest ever hat trick?
It was, yeah.
It was insane. He was a great striker.
Yeah. And for me, he was obviously one of my favourites as well. But it's just, I hate, when you just have someone that's so good and the way their career just ends and it just ends rubbish. That's how I felt about him. I felt like it just didn't end as high as it should have. Although he went to, is it Man City, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it just didn't. Yeah, Leeds and Man City. I feel like he deserved more and more trophies. To be fair, like someone that scored again up there with Ian Wright in the terms of different types of finishes as well. Quick. Robbie Fowler was just one of my favourites. This guy here, Wayne Rooney.
Second. Second in now. Yeah. Second.
Absolute insane talent.
Now I'm up here. I'm not happy with this guy being up second with these two.
No, he's got to drop down to
third. He's gonna drop out at some point. But.
If at fourth.
Like the more I think about it, I'm more inclined to slip him down to here. To be fair, Wayne Rooney. I don't even know. Again, man. Wayne Rooney. I think the way he looks, off the pitch antics have gone against Wayne Rooney in terms of people talking about how good he was, and even that he was so good that I wouldn't say they ruined his career by making him drop deeper, but he was just that good that he could play in any position. And it was, I think, obviously it hindered him catching Alan Shearer, although he's still like 50-something goals away, isn't he? 52 goals, I think, away. He might have been a bit closer, but again, I think he was just one of those players that could play anywhere. I reckon if you put him in goal, he would give you a good shift in goal. Like I think that's just Wayne Rooney, that kid at the park or in school that could do everything, beat everybody in a race. Football, and that's what you enjoy, is that you could tell he just wants to play football. Steve, opposition.
Well, mate, nothing but praise for the lad. Broke onto the scene, scores a wonder goal against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Not say, was that the goal? Was that the goal that stopped your big long run of wins or something?
It ended a record.
Goes to United and his first European night scores a hat trick. That's more the Rovers stuff, in it. You know what I mean? So, but that's Wayne Rooney in a nutshell. It is a Royal Rovers story. A lad from sort of destitute part of Liverpool, not particularly no money, comes from a very, very working class family, got his head down, worked hard, believed in himself. Like you say, no particular weakness in his game, could do everything. Physically, ridiculously strong. The thunderbolt volley off the corner, technique against absolutely crazy to strike a ball that well from that kind of distance. It's what he did. It's what he was good at. The guy was
at 16. He looked 30 when he was 16.
Oh man, felt like Mike Tyson. Felt like Mike Tyson at 16.
So it's like, when you have players coming into the team, like Owen was 17, Cesc Fabregas 16, 17. I don't know, Saka. All of these people, they look like kids playing with adults. Wayne Rooney looked like an adult playing with adults and
Mate, he looked like a veteran playing with adults.
yeah, like his hair was going already when he was 16. Koji, I'm gonna let you talk about your guy.
You know what is so crazy about Rooney is if he spent more years as a striker, purely as the main man at United, because when he did in his main 2 years as the main man, he hit 30 plus easy. If he did, he gets closer to Shearer's record, possibly
Yeah, so, yeah, 110%.
Like that, because he got 208 Premier League goals. Man United's all-time top goal scorer, despite the fact that he was playing second fiddle to Rui van Nistelrooy, Louis Saha, Cristiano Ronaldo, Dimitar Berbatov, Robin van Persie, Carlos Tevez for a little bit as well. Like, having all those partners and your goal scoring record not getting the accolades it truly deserves. The guy he was wonderful. Set pieces, volleys, overhead kicks, headers, penalties. Oh man,
He had everything.
He had everything. When you talk about complete players, it's very rare that you get to see a player that's truly complete in every aspect of the game. The guy was wonderful, and I even love the fact that he was aggressive and that he will piss people off or he will get pissed off and then he'll fight back. I loved it when he got sent off and threw balls away. I didn't care. It was all part of his character. It's what makes the character, what makes the personality, because that's what we fall in love with when we're young. We love those footballers. When I was young, I fell in love with Laurent Robert. The guy was fiery as hell, but he had a left foot rocket to smack it for days, and you couldn't stop him. Steven Gerrard, energy, passion, technique, but you knew you couldn't F with Steven Gerrard because if he wanted to slap you, he'll slap you. Thierry Henry scored a free kick, looked in the camera and said, "Is that enough?" Like that's the kind of caliber of arrogance that I love, and I think he had that arrogance, but he was like, you guys say, he also come from humble beginnings, so he knows how good he is, but he doesn't need to brag about it. He goes out there and gives 110% every single time. For me, Man United's greatest player, and United fans will argue with me because look, I didn't get to see Bobby Charlton, I didn't get to see George Best, so I can't talk for those two. But for him and for people I've seen, he's number one, and for me that's undisputed. The guy was a magician, and he was the key part of the biggest rebuild in United because Chelsea got money, Arsenal went invincible, so that was a big challenge. And he was the team that was built. The team was built around the player, and that was Wayne Rooney. Phenomenal.
Yeah, we're just going to give an honourable mention to Suarez because we know how great he was, but for certain reasons, just being an arse, he's not going to get in the top 10. We're going to do 3 more players.
You can't do that. You can't ignore him in the top 10, mate. Really.
He's not going to make the top 10 though, is he? Where are we going to put him?
Joking at you.
Suarez, I would put him above.
Suarez was the best player in the world the year before we sold him, mate. You couldn't touch him.
I don't think he will finish in the top 10 though.
It's alongside Suarez at least.
Oh, mate, he's
6th or 7th.
He's better than Vardy's group, mate.
I know, but no, we're talking about their career in the Premiership and how much they like. If he's how long did he play there? 3 years.
But look at what he did in the 3 years he was there, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
he nearly won him the league, didn't he? Like he was brilliant.
Single-handedly,
couple of seasons.
Single-handedly,
and I think that's the thing is nearly. I think we have to look.
I think in terms of impact though, he was as good as Drogba, so he's definitely on that level.
Yeah, up here, yeah. So we're saying,
in terms of impact that he has,
better than that. He was ridiculous, mate.
He was brilliant in the Premier League.
Look at the stats the guy returned. Absolutely phenomenal, mate. 31 games, 34 goals, 16 assists. That's their numbers.
That's one season, though, isn't it?
But that's the season when somebody came and paid 100 or whatever they paid for him off the back of him biting somebody. If he doesn't do that stupid thing.
But I mean, you got that for Coutinho as well, though. So I'm not sure the money signing.
I think Suarez is a far better player than Coutinho ever was. Suarez was.
Obviously, I agree.
Okay, but with his quality is undeniable. But with the quality and the longevity, because longevity is not a bad thing. So with the quality and longevity added all together, does he sit next to those guys?
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
I think Suarez was. If you're talking about Premier League strikers and how they played in the Premier League, no matter how long or short they were here, he's up there.
Fair.
Yeah, no.
Is it the top table?
Where would you place him?
Me, I'd leave him there.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's as good as what's above him.
I think he's better than some of the people alongside there.
No. Just. I mean, just be honest. Where would you put him, Steve?
Maybe in the next one up, and I think that's because of the fact he's a bit of an arse. If he didn't do the things he did, he's at the top table in the conversation, mate.
Yeah, let's be honest. If he was in the Premiership for 10 seasons, if he was there for as much as Aguero, and he carried on playing the way he was playing, we would be saying he's top 3. To be honest, again, like you're saying, that one season, was it Norwich, that game where he just went crazy and just.
Oh, that was insane!
Just went into some
demon. Look at the shot he had against you guys at Anfield when he hit the post from about 35 yards out.
Yeah, it's just
Polo Torre and goes wide. His technique was insane, absolutely insane, and you just can't ignore that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Like he was an amazing footballer. I think just based on longevity, I think that goes against him, but. Since we've got Eric Cantona there, I think he was personally think he's better than Eric Cantona, but that's my opinion. So I'm happy for him to be there. Jermaine Defoe,
underrated,
underrated. I mentioned his name earlier, didn't I? I said it. Yeah. The guy scores goals in the Premier League. Yeah, and bearing in mind he's someone who at Tottenham, which I think was his biggest club, he was in and out in terms of course. We had Keane and Canute, and then maybe him and Canute, and then obviously with Redknapp, he had him and Crouch. But even then, he didn't start all the time because Redknapp was starting to maybe do one up top, maybe Robin Pavlyuchenko started sometimes.
What a player he was, by the way.
Yeah, I love him. I actually quite love Pavlyuchenko, as funny as that is.
Cost you 30 quid to get his name on your shirt, but you know.
But in terms of strikers. In the Premier League, I would actually put him in the next to the Fowler and them, man, because he was a killer.
Listen, 162 goals at the moment. Obviously, Kane is going to overtake him, but he was one off Robbie Fowler, and 7 off Thierry Henry. So that just shows how. And I mean, let's be real. He played for teams that none of them were challenging for anything. West Ham, Tottenham, Portsmouth, Sunderland. He just played. He played for rubbish, but his goal record was just amazing. To be fair,
proper rubbish.
He played for rubbish. Yeah, just because I'm worried about the time. We're gonna put 2 more in there. Les Ferdinand,
underrated. What a player! I loved him.
Great player.
He put him alongside Defoe for me.
Les Ferdinand, when he was at Newcastle, was alongside Shearer one of the best strikers in the league.
Again, what was it about Les Ferdinand that people just don't respect? 150 goals in the Premiership. Like, how can you not respect him? Like, his name just doesn't get mentioned.
The current fans don't love the traditionals. That's why someone like Shearer can get a disrespect, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah. Some of the polls, if you see some of the polls at the minute, they are embarrassing.
Honestly,
like embarrassing.
So you have to cover your face, mate.
Big YouTube channels telling you that Shearer doesn't even make top 10. So that tells you if Shearer can't make top 10, Les Ferdinand has no hope. You know what I'm saying?
Someone said to me the other day, Shearer sneaks into the top 5. I have to block him in the end. You know when you think, I just put, you do know this man is the top Premier League goal scorer of all time. That's not a fluke. There's no fluke to that. And he missed 3 seasons. And he played when the Premier League had proper defenders. He played against your Stams, your Ferdinands, your Terrys. And they just get, he sneaks in. No. Absolutely. They don't know football these days.
No, all right. We're going to give some honourable mentions. Mark Viduka, good guy.
Good player.
Very good player.
Overrated.
Solskjaer, again.
I hate
Solskjaer was a good. He was a good striker.
Good at what he done in it. 91 goals in the Prem for a sub is very, very good. Van Persie, amazing footballer. Again, one of those players that if he just wasn't injured, I don't know what he would have done goal scoring wise, because
Class.
guy scored 144 goals, and I think I'm going to say he played 3 full seasons of football.
Yeah, he's injured a lot, wasn't he?
I'll
Like,
forever love what he did for us. Forever love him.
He deserved his league title at Manchester.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like when people, speak bad about him, I'm like, the guy was a winner. He just wanted to win. He didn't care where he won. He just wanted to win. So I have nothing bad to say about him. Lukaku, his first touch in the Premiership was just it was woeful.
Only at Man United, Everton, he was phenomenal.
He's just a goal scorer as well, and I think it goes against him the way he looks.
Sorry, hasn't Lukaku got over 120 goals now?
No, if in the Premiership he's got 113.
Incredible player.
and he hasn't even been here for how long as well. Like, that's just mad. And a lot of those goals were like for West Brom and Everton. So it's just like, Viduka was a good servant to the league. Torres I rated a bit high for us. Like, I thought he supported Newcastle.
No, I don't think he does,
Oh, he doesn't. Oh, my bad. No. Kevin Phillips, again, baller, underrated. Teddy Sheringham, again, one of my favourite players. Along with Robbie Keane. Again, Robbie Keane and technical ability of those two guys. Hasselbank, if he hit a ball, the ball will stay in hit.
Bullied Man United sometimes. It was awful.
I think you just got to respect the level of strikers we had back then. Like mid-90s to late 2000s was the year for strikers. They were just incredible.
He was just a flat bully, man. Flat bully. And then
just get him in this round. Number 2.
The king.
2.
The king.
Number 1, all by himself.
Number 2.
Number 1, all by himself.
Number 2.
Everybody gets moved down. Honestly, I don't care about anybody else in football.
You can just delete the whole lot. The top 2 are Shearer and Henry.
Yeah, they're the top 2
in that order. I'm gonna fight this, right? If we're talking
you can't fight it because it's 3 against 1. No. It's just
if we're talking
over.
Strikers, Alan Shearer is the best striker in Premier League history. If we're talking players. You can say what you want. Is the best player in Premier League history. Alan Shearer is the greatest
you
striker.
Can say what you want, and Josh,
right, I'm moving. Do you know what? I'm moving to Rafe's channel.
You could go chill with Steve Rafe, but we don't even have enough time. This guy, I don't even know. I'll let you lot talk about him because
I would fight.
As soon as we come off, I'm just going to go watch YouTube and just watch Thierry Henry again.
So with the thing with Henry, right, is, and I get the clamour for Shearer to be the number 1, but Henry's numbers are done from not a central position, not a line leader. Henry picked the ball up like he did against Spurs in his own half and carried the ball the full length of the pitch and scored. That is the best player the Premier League's ever had by a country mile, and is for me the types of goals he scored, the audacity to do the things he did, the back heels, the free kicks, all of the things that he did. He could do everything, and he's pretty good in the air as well because he's about 6'2". He's not a little fella. I just think I just can't say enough positives about that guy. He's by far the best player the Premier League's ever had. And he belongs at the top of this list, mate. He really does. And I get your loyalty to Shearer, and I understand the record. But Thierry Henry is a different animal when it comes to football to anything else we've seen in the Premier League.
I see what Josh is saying about striker, but Thierry Henry
is the best player that's ever been in the Premier League.
Thank you.
I'll say it, right? But he's not the best striker that's ever played in the Premier League.
Listen,
that's he wasn't a striker.
If that's how you want to just win on technicalities, then we'll let that slide. But just for me, in terms of Thierry Henry, it was for me. There were certain players where you're in the tunnel and you don't want to wake up. You don't want to get on the pitch because you know what's going to happen. you had lost the game before you had even stepped out. And I think Thierry Henry was one of few players that had that. And like we're saying about Torres, that one season, Suarez, that one season, those were the type of, as good as Alan Shearer was, his team wasn't good enough around him. So that kind of goes against him. So
Yeah, but
when you put Thierry Henry,
scarier, doesn't it?
when you put Thierry Henry there, you just think I've lost the game. Like the only hope is him missing chances. You can't stop him.
Yeah,
and
but
I
he had
think
the
that's
support around him.
I think
Look
he
at
could.
the
He
team
could.
Shearer was in compared to the team.
There was one game we played. Sorry, Steve, but we played you at Highbury, and you went to, was it 2-0 up or 2-1 up? Sorry, and Thierry Henry just said to himself, I'm not losing this game." He said, "I'm not losing this game," and he didn't lose the game. And that's all I can say about Thierry Henry.
You know what Jamie Carragher said after that game? When Thierry Henry went past him, it was like trying to run after someone on a motorbike. Andy was running with the ball. Andy was running with the ball. So do you know what? That's a perfect way to sum up just how dangerous that bloke was.
Because they were mocking Carragher the other day, saying that he invented social distancing because they showed a clip.
He was so slow, man.
Where he tried to catch Thierry Henry.
He did it to everyone on me. He did it to everyone.
Henry was world class. There's no denying it. He was the best player we've ever had in the league.
And again, like Kojo was saying, it's about the arrogance, the swagger. You just couldn't hate him. I think even when people wanted to hate him, they couldn't hate him. When Danny Mills tried to wind him up, he just thought, you know what, I'm just going to nutmeg you, make you look silly.
Yeah,
when
but Danny Mills was a little flake anyway.
When the refs tried to wind him up, you know, he just had that arrogance to talk to the ref like that, which again now probably isn't a great thing to do, but he did it, and people didn't even care. And I think that shows the level of the man. Kojo, I'll let you finish on Thierry.
Oh yeah, I mean, he is he is probably the best player we've ever seen. I won't say by a country mile because Cristiano was alive, but no, honestly, the impact he had for Arsenal, I think when Arsenal first won their title, Henry was good, but it wasn't like a prominence. And then when he rose to prominence, when he started to take everything by the scruff of his neck, and the caliber of goals he was scoring, they weren't just good goals. And I know it's Premier League based, but even the goals he scored in the Champions League, the way he done Real Madrid up, the goal against Sparta Prague, I keep saying this is one of my favorite all-time Champions League goals. The fact that he controlled the long ball with the outside of his boot, turn around and use the same outside of his boot to then swing it to the far corner, to then equal Ian Wright's record. That's insanity. That is insanity for me. That's quality beyond measure. And funny enough, in this day-to-day, people still try to discredit him. So it is what it is. But
all the players get discredited.
Exactly. But Thierry was phenomenal. Thierry was phenomenal in every sense of the word, man. He was brilliant. And it pisses me off that you had him.
Yeah. We're going to quickly just try and do the impossible. We're going to try and get this down to 10 players. It's 1 and 2 is set for me. Now we're going to try and get to 3 and 4. Sorry, it's 3.
Rooney third.
Rooney's better than Aguero.
Aguero fourth.
Yeah.
No.
Who?
What are you saying, Steve?
You can't put Aguero in 4th place. Come on.
Why?
Rooney was better than Aguero.
Yeah.
Why? Because Man City are what they are largely because of him. His goal scoring record. Okay, he's in a season where he's been injured. We all said before, you can't give the guy a sniff.
All right, you know what we're gonna do just for this one. We're gonna give them 2 because I wouldn't be able to separate them.
That's calm, but swap Rooney and Aguero in it because
Nah.
The list is wrong anyway. So
nah, the list is perfectly right. Then 4th, Van Nistelrooy or Kane.
Kane, yeah, all-round player.
Cool. This is gonna be mad because all of these players are gonna drop out.
You might as well start kicking Zola and them man out of here.
Yeah. Owen's gone.
Owen's
gone. Drogba's gone.
Yeah, I think Bergkamp might drop out.
Berbat's gone.
But the thing is, it's weird because we had Drogba there, but I don't think you can leave Drogba out of the top 10.
Why not?
Is he better than what's above him?
Let's just see.
Answer's no. So get him and Bergkamp the hell out of here.
Oh man, this is not going well, man. This is not how I planned it, boys.
Wait, does Arsenal
This is-
overload?
This is gonna just go out. We're gonna get him down there, then Ferdinand down there.
I think he can drop Ferdinand Defoe out the top 10 as well.
Oh wait, no, but then we don't have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, they're out. Oh no, this is not gonna go down well. Oh, wait, I've taken too many out now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know, because we agreed to have these two join. So we're gonna put one back in. I'll say Defoe goes back in, but he's gonna be number 10. All right, so fourth, we're saying Harry Kane, obviously, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, this is where it starts to get a bit dubious and tricky. Who are we going for sixth?
Who's in the next bunch? Who are those 4 players? 5 players?
Cole, Righty, Cantona, and Suarez.
I would say
Suarez.
I was going to say Cole Suarez. I can't lie.
I'm going to say Suarez.
I think Ian Wright's
Suarez. All right.
Listen, it's wrong anyway, so it don't matter, does it?
Now it's wrong. Yeah, now it's wrong. I don't know.
It's been wrong since the top 2.
Nah, so we've got Van Nistelrooy 5th, Suarez 6th, Andy Cole 7th, joint with Cantona. Who's going to go 7th and 8th out of Cantona and Cole?
Cantona goes 8th.
Cantona 7th, yeah?
8th.
Oh, Cantona goes 8th, yeah?
I'd have Cole above Cantona.
I'm happy because I've got 2 Arsenal players in there. We've managed to get a Liverpool guy in there. I'm just not happy about Suarez over Fowler, to be fair. Like, if I'm being honest.
Suarez was a better player.
Steve, are you happy with that?
Yeah, I am. Suarez is technical. Suarez is the best technical footballer Liverpool have ever had. He's just an idiot.
Fair enough. Drogba was unreal for look.
They're coming alive now.
Prime, look at Prime. Prime is active now. Suarez doesn't make my list, but it's one is my.
Prime's angry. Like
he's fuming. And I can't lie, I'm fuming with him right now. I can't lie.
Honestly, I don't think we can leave him out. To be fair,
Drogba's probably.
He's hiding in the phone. I just realized. Yeah, he's hiding in the phone. Sorry. Hell yeah.
We'll take the phone out. I'm happy with this. I think he's hiding Ian, right? Let's be fair. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I say it's here. I'm happy with this.
Wait. How's Cole so low? What is going on? This is the disrespect I was talking about.
No, but if we're talking about what they've done. We're talking about everything. What they've done for the club, the trophies, the spearheading and stuff. Then I think
treble, 3 titles in a row.
But did he spearhead it though? I don't think he did. I think he was just part of the. You know,
was it social?
No, but I'm saying like he was part of the team. You see, like what Steve was saying in terms of Suarez. Suarez made Liverpool, didn't he? He made Sterling. He made Sterling what he was. He made Coutinho.
What did they achieve with him?
Steve, answer that question.
He transformed the team. I'm going to answer. He transformed
took a team that had no right to challenge to win an ace of doing it. That team, if you look at other than Suarez, Sterling, Sturridge, and an aging Gerrard, that team had no right to be challenging for the Premier League. It's all because of Suarez.
Then Vardy should be on this list because he had
No.
Yeah, but he had Hoof at West Morgan centre back, Danny Drinkwater in midfield.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I could have Suarez higher than Drogba, honestly.
No, you can't know.
Suarez shouldn't be on this.
The thing is, I'm not even sure about Van Nistelrooy being 5th either.
Wait, where should he be?
6th. I think Drogba should be 5th.
I'll have that.
I disagree.
5 minutes ago, he wasn't in the top 10. And
this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. I've done it.
No. Swap back. No.
Steve, are you happy with that, Steve?
No.
No, I'm not. Because I don't think Drogba belongs that high on the list.
Hey, you know what? Put Shearer first, man. I'm not having this no more. Put Shearer first.
No, that's not happening. Sorry.
Shearer should be first anyway. Look,
anything
good,
fourth,
but he's not quite
fourth,
Shearer.
fourth and below. I think anywhere could go anywhere. I think that's
Right.
the top four.
Drogba's not in the top 5 Premier League strikers ever.
Agree.
That is blasphemy, man.
Andy
Well,
Cole
that's,
goes
that's
in the
because
if we're
that's because
talking Premier League
Aguero
all
and Kane are
time,
right next to each other. I mean, Aguero and Rooney are next to each other. So if you just put one of them down, he's out anyway.
Drop Rooney down.
Wait, what?
Listen, man, it's wrong anyway.
Are we losing Ian Wright? I'll have to take it back.
Wait, who did you just kick out?
Huh?
Who did you just kick out? No. Don't you dare.
I'm happy with
I'd
this.
say, do you know what though? This is why we were so blessed to live through that period of football.
This is it.
Because look at these players. Look at them. Every single time they
saved the team. The team has been saved.
The top 10's wrong, but you know.
No, the team is saved, man. No, I'm not trying to add my.
I'll tell you what I will say, guys, just to close with that. We've just spent an hour and 40 minutes doing that, and Gunnar's just done his own in 30 seconds.
I think this is fair. Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, Aguero, Kane, Drogba, Suarez, Van Nistelrooy, Andy Cole, and Ian Wright. That is the top 10.
It's the top 10, but it's in the wrong order.
No, listen, Shearer's not going to be number one. Nobody.
Shearer will always be number one.
Yeah, in your heart, but that's it. That's the team, boys, lads. Thank you so much.
260.
This was supposed to be 45 minutes to an hour, and we've gone an hour over what we were supposed to do, but it was fun. It just shows how much, I wouldn't say football's gone downhill, but how blessed we were in the Premiership years that some of these guys were actually playing together, that each team had one or two genuinely great strikers. And let's hope in the future that, Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney have a bit more respect on their name, to be fair. Steve, let us know where we can find you.
At Red Sky Pods, if you're free tomorrow night, we're interviewing ex-Bolton, Newcastle, Celtic and England midfielder Alan Thompson. So that'll be interesting. Have a bit of a chat with him. So pop along and have a look at that. That's tomorrow at 8. So come and have a look. What team did you put first there for Alan Thompson? Bolton, because that would be the team in the Premier League he was known for. Yeah. Josh, where can we find you?
Away days.
There we go. He's here with me sometimes when he's not annoying me.
I'll run the show now.
Kojo, where can we find you, bro?
Away days on Thursdays and that rhymes. That's beautiful. And Free Midfield on Twitter, all the audio places. Free Midfield podcast on YouTube.
That Thursday show's after the main Thursday night show.
Yeah, where we talk about Newcastle's impending relegation.
So it's all doom and gloom on Thursdays.
Not on mine. We only talk about good football. We talk about history, not none of this modern.
The thing is, they ran out of years already to talk about for Newcastle because there wasn't that many great years, so they ran out of years already.
Yeah, but that's why we're dragging guests on now.
But yeah, lads, thank you all for joining me for an hour and 45 minutes of fun, even though I just made my own team in the end anyway. So everybody enjoy your evening and see you all very, very